I mean, the thing that I know we are all asked all the time, constantly in these conversations within this debate is whether or not we have empathy. Don't you have empathy for these men who think they're women or, who have such intense, they call it dysphoria, gender dysphoria, that they must live as a woman in order to feel okay about their lives? Don't you have empathy for these people?
And I've been getting that a lot in interviews, and it does annoy me because it's this constant expectation that women are supposed to be nice to men who are in some way seen by their fellow men as inadequate, and we're supposed to take them on and look after them. But I'm more angry that for years and years, none of these people who are now wringing their hands and saying empathy, had any empathy for women who were imprisoned with murderers, male murderers. They had no empathy for some of the people, the kinds of people who have contacted us. There was a group of women back in 2019 who went to see Rape Crisis Scotland to talk about their policy of allowing anybody to self-identify into the spaces and to have this individual Meridal Wadwa as manager of rape crisis centres. And one of the women there, her daughter had been gang raped at 14. And she was obviously completely traumatized. And there was no empathy, even from the woman at the top of Rape Crisis Scotland, for that woman. No empathy. And I just thought, and I think the Edinburgh meeting, the first, not ours, but one organised by, I think it was Women's Place. It was Women's Place UK. When a woman was talking about her child sexual abuse, and there were people outside banging pots and hooting horns, and someone went outside and said, "Look, there's a woman telling a really devastating story about abuse in there. Can you not?" And they said, "We don't care." And I thought, so now we're being asked to feel empathy for these people, and they had absolutely none for us at all. So it does annoy me actually slightly. I have been.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the hypocrisy is so blatant, and it's odd that they can't see it because, like you say, I mean, we're being asked to have all this empathy for a situation. It's not really necessarily about the individuals or having empathy for individuals. Of course, on like a one-to-one basis with an individual that you meet or are talking to one-on-one, you might have empathy, but a situation that is so harmful to women and girls and that endangers women and girls, and we're being asked to have empathy for that situation, and then on top of that, the people asking us to have empathy seem to have zero capability of even imagining an ounce of empathy for a girl in a change room with a man, or a girl who's lost, her track competition to a man, or a woman who's been sexually harassed or sexually assaulted in prison by a man.
Yeah. And yeah, as you say, I do feel sorry for people who are vulnerable. And there are lots of men that I have a lot of empathy for. And I've got a lot of men in my life who I love very, very dearly.
Yeah.
And I would never want to see them put at risk or harmed either. But I wouldn't expect that to be done at the expense of a whole other section of the population. I would want to find a way to keep them safe that didn't hurt anyone else. And I don't know why that's been so impossible for people to compromise on, or to understand that you don't make somebody safe by making another group of people unsafe. It's not fair.